Greetings and welcome everybody to the Jane Live Miracle Medicine on a Thursday. We are running a series at the moment focusing specifically at gut health, which translates to brain health, and looking at the evolution of humanity, humans, our DNA, the major role that the microorganisms play in developing our DNA. Also having a look at diseases of the gut, the root causes of these diseases, good foods to eat, which brings us to today where we're talking about also fermented foods. I'm going to share some recipes with you and really show you how to make all these really gorgeous, scrumptious, I'll open the cover in a moment, all these gorgeous special fermented foods, brain food. So gut food is brain food, just simply. Gut disease, constipation is equivalent to brain fog, confusion, lack of control, just memory problems, depression. So if we want to fix the brain, we got to fix the gut. And remember that if the gut is dirty and polluted and full of plaque and full of parasites and fermentation and worms and all disgusting things, those parasites and pathogens will bore their way through the gut lining and enter into the bloodstream, and through those little holes, which we term leaky gut, the wrong bacteria, the wrong funguses, all the wrong parasites will enter the blood. The blood then becomes thick and dirty, and the organisms multiply, and then they will enter any organ of the body, the brain in particular, and cause lots of havoc. So we've got quite a lineup today, and quite a lot of really interesting things to discuss. It's really one of my most favorite areas, the gut, the microbiome. And, we've got our own very special microbiome reset, which is a live probiotic, live. That means you don't put it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, they die. It's brewed out of the normal microbial cloud, which we living in, breathing in, that's around us, the same as animals, the plants, and the soil. So we all feed off the same microbial cloud. And, why would it be different for plants or animals or the soil? So we need to consume the live probiotics. And in this day and age, we're so blessed because we get the mother culture, and we can just brew it. And the farmers before and today too will brew the gut of an animal or inside the plant too. Very high vibrational, very intelligent little microorganisms. And you'll see later in the presentation, and if you look at the previous two Thursday presentation live webinars on the gut, which are on the Jane McKenzie YouTube, I urge you to go and have a look at those two because they're very different and very special. You will see the incredible value of the microorganism in our evolution. And I think this is just absolutely key. We don't just consume them because they help our digestion. They're doing way more than that, which you'll see now. And I really commend those of you who've availed themselves to the special and bought the probiotic and the cell oxygen capsules, because between the microorganisms and the direct action of oxygen in terms of cleaning the gut and sweep cleaning everything that shouldn't be there, allowing the body to restore and heal, we get quite far down the line in terms of human health and restoring and maintaining ourselves. So I've made this special available to everybody, and there are various ways of purchasing it and getting it delivered to you. So a very warm welcome to everybody. Just seeing everybody's coming in and people from around the world. It's really awesome. Really awesome to see a lot of you. And I know you're here because of this very special topic. So yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of these things today, and I'm going to share some wonderful recipes with you. No excuses after this, by the way, because ignorance is bliss. But once you know, your soul is going to be pushing you to make some of these gorgeous probiotics. And I will just say that our ancestors would always have something on the table insofar as a fermented food to add the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeasts to assist with digestion. So there would always be a kind of fermented cheese, a kefir, cottage cheese, something like that. On the table. There would be a miso, there would be an idli, there would be sauerkraut, kimchi, those kind of foods which contain the microbes which are for gut health. So, if you want to be nice to your gut, you want to clean your gut, and basically get your brain and your memory and your concentration optimized, we need a gut health. We need a strong microbiome. So I always ask you to put your questions in the chat, and please do, as we roll out lots of this information. And if you've got a point to add, please do that too. And don't think that the role of the microbe stops with the gut. It's really the beginning. If you think of the mitochondria, it's a eukaryote, which is a bacteria, a very primitive form, but it is a bacteria. So we are benefiting from the beneficial microbes, not only the gut, also the mitochondria, and then also the imprinting on the DNA, our genetics. I spoke before, and we are 90% microbes. So what you're seeing of me is 90% of me is microbes. And from a genetic point of view, 99% of my genes are microbial genes. Only 1% makes you and me, different color eyes, color hair, etc., etc. So they are absolutely vital, absolutely critical, and they are in pace with the human evolution. Let's just see here. So Anna's saying she doesn't go anywhere without her microbiome reset because of her sensitive gut. And many people, thanks for that, Anna, do travel with the probiotic. And the reason being that when you go into other countries, other lands, etc., there will be a different kind of a microbial flora, which we sometimes need to get used to. I just need to go and get the battery. Hold on a sec. Got it here. I'm coming. Putting it through. And we are A4 away. So, very important that we realize that moving to different countries is going to have an effect on our microbes, because suddenly we have to readjust to a new environment. So there's two ways of doing it. The preparation, the fermented microbiome reset, which we have a 365 Healthy by Choice, is brewed anaerobically. That means it's brought in organisms from the plants, from the soil, that have the microbial cloud with them, but then it's brewed anaerobically. When you make something like a miso or a kefir or a kombucha, you see it's open at the top. We do put a little cap on the top, but your excesses and your deficiencies, and they will automatically shape, shift, and morph into the right microbial pattern for you at that particular moment in time to ward off infection. All right, and so very, very important that we do this. Very important when we travel. Very, very important. The role of the probiotic in boosting immunity is incredible. And I'm going to go through that in a moment. So let's just have a look at some of the slides that I put together to educate a bit. This is the introductory slide for the new people that have joined us. It's always wonderful to see so many new people. And I said last week, this topic is obviously one of the hottest topics. There's another hot topic, and that's genitourinary. But this one has just flooded, the Facebook and the WhatsApp groups and so on. So what we do on a Thursday is we look at anything specifically health-wise that's authentic, natural, organic, original in the quantum space, and anything to do with holistic health. We bring through live case studies. We look at root causes of disease and look at nature-made nutrients, detoxification, restoring the human genome, the genetic code, and boosting immunity. So this is today. And let's just go through some of these. We're going to be definitely looking at kimchi, which is really, really yummy. Kombucha tea. We brew it ourselves. We'll be having a look at dokla and recipes for that. Yogurt, kefir, cottage cheese, miso, idli. And I'm sure there's some that I haven't put on the message here as well. But we're getting the idea. So in the gut, we have friendly bacteria, all in the friendly form. All right. And then when these are threatened by, or shall I say stimulated to shift into the opportunistic form due to toxins and things in our body, they will do that, and they will go and help the body heal. Some of them are man-made and are just generally unfriendly. So the friendly ones have the opportunity, and they will morph into opportunistic pathogens and go and help the immune system at the site where there are pathogens. The pathogens, parasites, generally, as I said to you, are mostly man-made, mostly synthetic, mostly not occurring naturally. So we have a friendly gut bacteria that have the opportunity to go and ward off naturally occurring pathogens. We also have the unfriendly ones, which we need to steam out with a microbiome reset, with a cell oxygen, for example, with a gut cleanse. So as Hippocrates says, is all disease begins in the gut. So most of modern medicine is synthetic, toxic to the body, not only the body, the mind, emotions, and the spirit. Damaging. So that means that modern medicine and anything synthetic and toxic can actually exacerbate or even cause depression, resentment, anger, greed. So we must always, anxiety, we must always know that toxin is going to affect also our spiritual path, not only the body. We are integrated, interrelated, humans. Genetically modified is dangerous to the gut and the cells. So we spoke before about genetically modified food. And this would again be man-made. And you can watch the previous videos where I've explained exactly what a genetically modified food is. And what happens is that we start producing the genetically modified organisms in our body, not only the gut, but in the blood and in the cells and in the tissue and in the organs. So very, 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 very dangerous. Right, getting on to this one. Modern medicine drains the life force from humans. So every single thing that we talk about, that I speak about, has got to do with life force, energy, chi, prana, call it what you like. We have to fill ourselves with nourishment from the sun, the leaves of plants, the roots of plants, the flowers of plants, the seeds of plants that have been energized from the sun via photosynthesis, for example, really fully charged molecules, the good water, the spring water that we drink, full of life force, full of almost gold, the air that we breathe, And the earth also, the earthing. So it's all about electron spin. It's about energizing our body. It's how brightly does your light bulb shine. We need the minerals from the plants and the soil to conduct electricity through our body to charge us. And that is going to put our light bulb on. So that when I talk about the microbes with little lights and gazillions of them scooting across the microscope slide, I'm talking about us too. We need to be a little light, a big light, a very bright, big light, full of life force. And then you've hit the jackpot, because your genetic structure will be in line, your gut will be in line, your brain will be in line, your heart, your circulation, your detoxification organs, and your digestive system to digest the food, absorb the food, metabolism, etc., your cells to absorb the food will all be in alignment. So our goal must be raised life force and cell vitality. And it's measurable, by the way, on our quantum machines software, directly measurable before and afterwards. And that's what we do. And those that you would work with me, we always do a baseline health assessment. We then put in a methodology to heal for each person, and we retest. And not too many people are doing this. For example, a lady called me just yesterday, and she said she had shingles, and she had a viral infections, etc. And she had gone and seen a couple of health practitioners, and a month later she's still sitting in the same boat. So I said to her, well, we can do it where we do the health assessment, see which organs are out of alignment, which detoxification organs need to be attended to. She said, oh, well, let me stop you there, because I've already got a liver cleanse, and I've already got this, and I've already got that. So I said to her, well, is it working? It can't be, because you're a month down the line, you spend so much money, and you're phoning me. So it's my way. If you want to come, we are going to do a health baseline assessment. We are going to use the products that we put together, and we are going to reassess, because that is my way of validating what I've done and what the practitioners here do, and what your end result. Not only will you feel better, we're going to see it in black and white. So I'm really done with old paradigm products, even if they're nature made, that don't quite get rid of these very serious man-made toxins. All right, we've got to be absolutely focused on this, because these things are the underlying organisms and toxins that are creating a massive amount of disease today. So, as I said before, we don't have big repeat practices, because the people get better. And some of it's a bit tough. Some of the detox, you'll know it. Your stomach will run, and you might feel things coming out of your brain and so on, but it comes out, and you suddenly feel wonderful, and your light shines, and you have life force for Africa, for the world, So we've got to be on the button. We've got to be working in the new health paradigm, where there is no time to waste. And as we detox the body physically, the emotions will leave, the neurological patterns can leave, and the spiritual path will become absolutely visible to you. You will bring joy, happiness, transcendence into your life. Yes, so we'll talk about antidepressants in a moment. Absolutely. Very, very key and very damaging to the health. All right, let's get a little bit of a move on here, because we've got a lot of things to talk about. So antibiotics are anti-life, and I mean, they will kill everything that's living in your body. And I mean, who wants that? Who wants that kind of a clean sweep? No, we want to be using nature-made products specifically designed to only address the wrongly charged matter, the negative parasite pathogens, the chemicals, the artificial environmental toxins, and get it out of the body. Same as when we do, biodynamic farming, and I'm helping people now with setting up vegetable patches in a biodynamic organic way. And when we put the volcanic rock dust into the soil, and the kelp, and the Ormus and the microbiome reset, we set up the soil so that the plant can absorb the nutrients. The paramagnetic effect of the rock dust will then destroy, literally, radiation, chemicals, old pesticides and everything, and restart restoring that plant, including the probiotics, so that each generation of seed that's produced has a better, stronger DNA. You get a better yield, a better plant, a more nutritious plant. Same with us. I mean, I got all my cues literally from nature and farming. All right. So just a very big important point here. Now Anna was talking about antidepressants. Well, not only, do they destroy the gut microbiome, we've talked about medicines before, and cause depression, because if you don't have the beneficial organisms which are producing the serotonin, the dopamine, the GABA, the PEA, you're going to feel depressed. Simple. Same with nutritional sweeteners, artificial nutritional sweeteners. They will definitely damage the production, absorption of serotonin. So gut health equals mental health, and it's all got to do with the gut microbiome. So now we're getting, information that our ancestors knew. Let's just talk a bit about these effective beneficial microorganisms. So they make the brain hormones in the gut, the serotonin, dopamine, GABA, PEA. If you don't have GABA stabilizes the brain, the EEG, the brain waves, the brain storms. If you've got a big fat amoeba living in your gut and in your body, it's just going to eat all your serotonin and dopamine, and that is going to lead to depression. All right, anxiety. So we've got to constantly replace them on a daily basis. Why? Because unlike a plant that's stable in the soil, our gut is a moving situation. So we are needing to consume a probiotic and a prebiotic. The prebiotics enable the microorganisms to grow. We also use prebiotics in the soil in the form of activated charcoal, compost, humus, and that will then get the colonies growing in the soil. But remember, that's stable. In us, we're moving, and we've got to keep from our mouth to our butt a clean tube. No plaque, no debris, nothing in the way, and everything moving beautifully, which will then be reflective of our brain. So also vitamins are made in the gut by the microbes. So many people, just about every single person is low in vitamin B and K. All right, if you have the right beneficial microorganisms in your body, you will not have a deficiency. So if you've got a deficiency in these, for sure you don't have the right microbes. They boost immunity, and I just want to talk about that point as well, which I did mention a little bit earlier. So they will shift into the opportunistic pathogenic form to go and help ward off and fight toxicity in the body and parasites. And they will travel in the bloodstream to the site of infection and work with the body's immune system. So if you don't have the right microbes, 50% of your immunity is not working. You're relying on your white blood cells and everything. You're relying on that army to go and fight, but not actually the full 100% of what can be happening. So, there was a story of a live case study where a doctor actually bought a bottle of the probiotic, the microbiome reset, and put it in the kitchen. Her son was ill, very sore throat, respiratory infection, and he thought it was cough mixture. So he finished the bottle in 2 days and went back to her and said, "Can I please have some more of that stuff? I'm better." So that gives you an idea of how we ward off infection. There are professors in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa who are doing studies on HIV, and the one that we use, and they said that there's only 2 probiotics that work, and ours is one of them. So people bath, cancer patients bath in the probiotic. We've got a microbiome plus Reset Plus, where we put in all sorts of herbs and plants that will gun for degenerative tissue. So are very, very, very powerful in their own right, and very much part of have to be part of your health regime. Can't do without it. Boost immunity, very important. Scavenge toxins, absolutely. Heavy metals, parasites, pathogens. They clear the oil slicks on the ocean. So they are also used to clear the sewer with blocked sewer. So if you've got a blocked gut, you're going to need the microorganisms to clear you. They will often add also enzymes, so also on the oil slick. So that is how powerful they are in terms of shape-shifting into the form they need to be to scavenge what shouldn't be there. So we want to raise our life force, raise the microbiome reset. The microbiome reset that we have has got 80 to 120 live strains. You don't get that. The most you can buy in the fridge is 12 strains only. Generally, they're 2 strains only. We have 80 to 120. You know, really, there's not even a comparison, and it's live, and it has live enzymes for oxygen transfer and water transfer through the gut. So oxygen transfer through the lungs and water transfer, you know, into the gut. Many people consume 3 liters of water a day, but they're dehydrated. They don't have the hydrolase enzyme. Many people don't have the oxygen enzyme. And it's in these products. And how do I know? Because I researched. As simple as that. All right. And then very, very importantly here, imprint genetically on the human DNA. Keep us current. We don't want last year's or 50 years ago DNA pattern. No, we want the right one for today. And that's what the microbes do, because they're in sync with the environment, with the earth, with the cosmos. Okay, so now we're going to be having a look at some of the good foods for the gut, which I did promise you, and how to build our microbial gut flora. What did the ancestors do? None of this is really new knowledge. So they would look definitely at the probiotic and the prebiotics. I'll talk about prebiotics in the next slide. But insofar as probiotics are concerned, I'm going to give you some great recipes and hands-on information to make them. And then, of course, it's medicine for you. So it's probiotics. It will be a microbial mixture of the right strains as medicine for you. So fermented milk, kefir. I'll show you the examples when I go through each of how to make the yogurt, the cottage cheese. There's just a bit of a caution here where people are showing intolerance to dairy. And mostly it's because it's the milk is synthetic. It's you know, the cows in a feeding lot, and you know the milk then gets pasteurized, heated to extreme temperatures, which damages the oil and the protein, and then the body can't recognize a lot of these you know, these heated food structures, molecules, and then kicks them out. So will that cause then inflammation? So also certain blood groups don't do well on milk. For example, O blood group, A blood group aren't so good. B blood group is good on the cottage cheese. So the white cheeses are always better for the body, more tolerable, more digestible, less inflammatory. But the cottage cheese will contain the probiotics, you see, because it's fermented in the first place. It's full of intelligence. You know, at the end of the day, we want to eat food that makes us more intelligent, and we want to grow food that each generation it's more intelligent. That DNA, that seed that's produced, the DNA is of a higher frequency than when before we planted the generation before it, etc., etc., etc. Same with us. Each day, each month, each year, we want to have a higher and better, more formed DNA. Our children need to have a stronger DNA than we did, more advanced, more intelligent, more conscious. It is the seat of consciousness. So completely linked and aligned with the cosmos. And so all of these things form, and integrate to developing a health avatars, which all of you are when we clean ourselves. All right. So you can also get little grains that make the kefir for the milk, for the water. You can also make a coconut kefir. So what's quite nice here with the coconut kefir is you can take if you have bottles that you've had in the fridge or on the shelf or whatever, and you can open up the little capsules, you can sprinkle it on top of the coconut water, and you can cover it. And in 24 to 48 hours, see if there's been any microbial activity. See if you're starting to get some a lining on the top of the coconut water where these little organisms are starting to grow. Then you can actually multiply whatever you do have. You can actually use the kefir as a substrate, the coconut kefir as a substrate, or coconut milk, sorry, as a substrate to actually grow more organisms for yourself. So every single microbe, right, will grow off a carbohydrate sugar substrate. It has to. So the microbiome reset that we have, nature made, grows off molasses. But by the time it's ready, the pH is 3.7 or below. It's acidic. It's more acidic than vinegar. So that, you can wash your dishes in it. You can wash your toilets in it. You can clean your surfaces. You can clean hospitals with it because the microbes just munch up the oils. So very important to know that, and know that you can actually, grow your own. So let's see here also what we're talking about. All right, now we're moving to sauerkraut, which is, known by everybody. You must make the sauerkraut with salt and not vinegar. Vinegar is disastrous for the gastrointestinal tract and will really attract candida, and it will set off candida and yeast. So always read the label. It must be the cabbage and salt. That's it. There's the tempeh. There's the kimchi, which is very similar to the sauerkraut, excepting they're adding different veggies in. There's the miso, I'm going to show you now. There's the kombucha tea. And then there's the natto, which is soya bean fermentation. Now, all of these are filled with vitamin B, vitamin K, all the other vitamins, live enzymes, and the microbes that we need to protect us. All right, now we're talking prebiotic. All right, so what's the difference here? A probiotic has the essential microorganisms, the colonies. But a prebiotic is the substrate, the cellulosey, carbohydratey, starchy substrate that the microbes like to grow on. So we're going to go through some of these foods right now. So we not only take the microbiome reset or the miso or the kefir, but we also, which are, by the way, actually have their own substrate. And then so the two have to work together. So that was I was saying a little bit earlier as well. All right, we need to have the prebiotic for the probiotics to stay, so we can build the colonies. All right. So prebiotics are made of there's three different kinds: the inulins, the fructo-oligosaccharides, and the galacto-oligosaccharides. So there would be the fruit sugars and the milk sugars. So what I was saying is that when we pour the microbiome reset, the pH is 3.7. There is no molasses left. There is no sugar left. So diabetics or anybody, don't worry. People who are worried about putting on weight, whatever. When the kombucha is right, when it tastes like enhanced vinegar, is when it's right. There is no more sugar left. All right, but we multiplied the organisms, and then when they come into the body, they do the job they need to do. So the milk is a prebiotic, and then certain of the fructo-oligosaccharides are also, because there's a sugar aspect. So for example, these foods have got these in them: bananas, celery, very, very starchy, very, very fibrous fibrous. That's what they grow on, the artichokes. Grain, so it would be oats, it would be barley. I'm not saying wheat because it is, but wheat is too sensitive today. It's too hybridized. It's too commercialized, and definitely white grain is a disaster because that is just straight sugar. Dandelion root, nice and again fibrousy. Chicory roots, garlic onion. Garlic and onion have got their own role as well in terms of having a high sulfur content, which will also detox the gut. But they're all fibrous. So just so if you're making notes, that's great. Now let's have a look at, I'm going to be going through how to make some of these things, hands-on, how to make these things, and there's going to be wonderful recipes. The list for the soil. Okay, sure. I'll do that. And it's not too different to us, by the way, but although we don't put flaxseed oil on the soil, but we definitely put, let's do it now. We put ormus gold, we put volcanic rock dust, we put kelp. You can put spirulina if you want to. We put the microorganisms. We use humus-rich black gold compost that we've made biodynamically, and I will do another webinar on that in time to come, but they already are on the YouTube. There already are gardening YouTubes, how to make the compost. And that compost has got the substrate in it for the microbes to grow as well. Yeah, so that's what we put into the soil. So we make it very, very nutrient dense. When those little seedlings get planted, they just grow overnight because everything's in a nature-made form. And when I observed that in plants, I knew what to do for humans. I knew exactly what to do. Give the body the choice. Don't only give it vitamin B and K. That's man-made. That's old paradigm. Give the body a stress defense shield that's got 30 nutrients in it, that the body can choose what it wants, when it wants, in the right microbial spin, the right microbial structure. Because otherwise we're guessing what the body needs. So let's consume the nature-made food. Let the body choose. Its intelligence is way beyond ours. And then we sit back and watch the magic. So we've got to bring the nourishment in. On the one hand, the nutrients, we need to detox the severe toxins out of the body and then bring in the microbes. And in that nourishment, we will have the minerals, we will have the proteins, we will have the long-chain sugars. So, for example, medicinal mushrooms, the algae, pollens, they have all got, very, very, very high concentrations of long-chain sugars. A long-chain sugar is not sweet. It's what the brain needs. When they say the brain needs sugar, it's not the short little sucrose. Anything with OSE at the end. That is a short-chain sugar. It's sweet. The body does not need that. And you will crave the sweets if you don't have the long-chain sugars. Like you will crave oil if you don't have the flaxseed oil. You will go and find the greasiest food all the time. Your body's trying to get the oils in, but it's all heated, enzyme deficient. So yes, it's just important to get that whole mix right, and then your life force increases and the light gets brighter. Your light bulb, the light bulb gets brighter. All right, I think you got all that right. Let's go back now to the slides, and I'm going to move through the real fun part now. So here are some beautiful, you can just see the life force in sauerkraut and kimchi, honestly to goodness, and you can make your own. So let's, from a live point of view, take a screenshot. You're going to get the replay automatically anyway, but you're going to shred a cabbage. Now, there's various ways of doing that. You can put it in the machine if you don't have enough time. But if you do, you get your knife and you slice it yourself. It's better to use a silicone knife, of course, just to say. You place the cabbage in a large bowl and you add a tablespoon of Himalayan salt. Why do we add the salt? Well, we add the salt because it makes the cabbage wilt. And by wilting, it softens the cellulose. and then the fermentation can start. So very important, that step. You can add some caraway, you can add some turmeric powder. We were talking about this, making this one here, the sauerkraut. If you're starting to do the kimchi, you would do the same, but you would use different vegetables. So you literally massage the cabbage, the shredded cabbage. You massage it with your hands. It's absolutely beautiful. And there's a point where it becomes very soft and juicy, and the juice actually squeezes out. Now you're using your hands, and the microbes and the energy is going into the cabbage, and it will then ferment according to your needs. Even though it is brewed anaerobically, it will have the right microbial pattern because you've made it. So squeeze it until the liquid is formed. This doesn't take more than half an hour. And it's lovely. You can do it outside. You can do it in the sun. You can do it with your children. Then, when you've got it to that liquid, very soft, it goes a little bit translucent color. You then push it tightly into a jar. So you push it down, the juice will come to the top. You close it with a lid. I like to put it in a plastic container, because you're going to get gas and you're going to get fermentation, and sometimes the liquid leaks out. So at least whatever, a saucer, a glass saucer, just to catch the juice, because cabbage juice is one of the most fundamentally important things in any cancer program, cabbage juice. So this is also how you make the cabbage juice, just to tell you, naturally. All right, so you push it tightly in the jar, you close the lid. You open the lid twice a day to let the gas out. You will find that the sauerkraut rises to the top. You push it down with your hands. If the juice is too much, you can decant a little bit, and you close the lid, and you do that twice a day. So it can be 2 to 3 weeks. If it's very warm, it can be even 1 week. The day that the cabbage doesn't rise to the top is the day it's ready. And that's when you can put it in the refrigerator to keep it fresh. And then you would always use a clean, preferably a wooden utensil. Never use the utensil that you put in your mouth or that's been anywhere, because you will contaminate and you will reduce the life of your sauerkraut. Okay, so then that's how you make that. Absolutely wonderful, inexpensive. If you have a look at the cost of buying sauerkraut versus making it yourself, you'll die. Literally, the cost of a cabbage and a tablespoon of Himalayan salt is nothing. It's just a little bit of your time. And what fun. What fun. You'll see great satisfaction. All right, so now let's move on to the next one. If there are any questions, let me know. Does the quality of the cabbage matter? Not really. Not really. An organic cabbage will be far more juicy, you'll see. Or a homegrown cabbage will be more juicy, it'll be sweeter, because it'll have more minerals. But just get a cabbage and do it, is what I say. All right, so here we're dealing with idli, which is fermented dal or black lentils and rice. And then it gets steamed first, and then it's lightly steamed. So you will find this at really good in Indian cuisine restaurants, in Indian homes, and with lots of really nice dips as well. So here is your idli, and the emphasis very, very lightly steamed, just to get it, just to get the shape. And here's the miso. So miso, it's this is a fermented paste made by infusing a mixture of soya beans with a mold called koji that is cultivated from rice, barley, or soya beans. So on the miso, you will see it will tell you brown rice and soya bean or barley or whatever. So you can see which one you want. Okay. and they boil to form a concentrate and then fermented. So if you boil rice for a very long time, you will get a brown sediment starting to form in the pot. That is the beginning of the meso. So here is an example of a meso. This is a soya bean and brown rice meso. So we talked about soybeans already. So you're going to get the meso and you're going to get the probiotic and the prebiotic in one. It's absolutely delicious. And the picture here is the miso soup that you will find in, sushi restaurants and things. It's really delicious if you want a mineral boost. If you want an instant mineral microbial boost, it's fantastic. Really, really fantastic. So we have that at our disposal. Now we're going to be talking about milk. Remember, it's a prebiotic and it's a probiotic, both. So this is the milk. I like to use a raw milk for mine, and you first make the kefir, and then when the whey separates, you get the cottage cheese. So, for example, this is, I can't really put it out, but on the group I did show you there's tiny little kefir grains which you can buy online, by the way, or any health shop. And you literally get your raw milk, you put it into a glass, must be a glass, and then you drop 1 or 2 of your grains in, store the rest in the fridge. And if you really want to get them going, use a full cream milk because they love cream. You see, cream is also full of vitamin K and vitamin D, and the organisms know. They know what makes them intelligent. So just to tell you, that's what we do. So this will take, anything from, if it's cold, say about 3 days to form the kefir. Now, if I leave this, the whey separates, you get a clear liquid at the bottom. And then I will take a spoon and you get the thick quark, the cottage cheese at the top. I'll get a spoon and I will I'll lift the cottage cheese and all the way falls out. And my chickens are very lucky because they love it and they get the whey. And then you take the cottage cheese and you put it into an old pillow slip, an old cotton, anything, a bag, and you hoist it up and let the remaining liquid fall out and dry out. And then in half a day, you open up the cotton sheet or towel that you've used, and you then gently scrape off with a wooden utensil the quark and put it into your container, and then you store it. So, for example, this is the quark, you see, this is mine, it's from in my fridge. And so the kefir will become the quark, the cottage cheese. I don't have it every day. I'm A blood group, and so it's not really a good idea to have it all the time. I'll get too mucousy if I do. But when I have it and I love it, and I generally will make the Budwick mixture, which is 1 container of cottage cheese to half a container of flaxseed oil, and you blend that up, and you've then got the Budwick mixture, which you can add flaxseed to berries, blueberries, some more almonds, the stress defense shield, the microbiome stress defense shield, any of those products, nutrients, you can then add it to, and it really does give you really a very, very good concentration. So to make these, here's the recipe. You buy or you get the kefir grains. Someone might give them to you. You're going to add your cup of raw milk to the glass jar. And then you add your little kefir grains in there. You can stir occasionally, because what happens is that the cream will come to the top. So you want the microbes in the whole mixture. So it's quite nice to stir it. Always use a wooden utensil. They don't like metal. Sieve to remove the grains. So when I take this kefir, when this is ready, like now, I will pour it through a sieve. I will collect the little kefir grains. They will go into the next glass. I will then also allow some of the some of the kefir to go into the new glass as well, because the startup is so much quicker because it's got all the microbes in it. So they suddenly just make more because of the galacto-oligosaccharides in the milk, this sweet substrate, and they will multiply much quicker. I do the same with the kombucha. So it's always good to give a nice substrate with the organisms in it. Let's just see here. And then, so you sieve it and you make the next lot. And then also it's a good idea to start with a small amount first. And then if you wanted to double your quantities, you could actually not decant any, but just get a bigger glass container and add more fresh milk, sort of a 1/3 to 2/3. And then you would then get, you know, a large amount, and then you could continue making the large amount, but always leave some put some also in the new container. See, always add some kefir to the new lot to get it fermenting quicker. And use it as you require it. You can refrigerate it. If you wait longer, the whey separates and you have the cottage cheese on top, which you dry in a cotton cloth tied up for a few hours. But remember always to remove the grains first. I once had someone staying with me, and they wanted to help prepare the smoothie, and guess what? They didn't take the kefir grains out, and so we had a smoothie with all the grains inside it, and I had to go get some more. Anyway, so just remember, you must get the grains out. So we're having nice fun here, and I'm sure you're all going to go and make your own and get some. So this is the dokla as well, which is the tempered and steamed chickpea flour. And there's 2 websites there where we can go and get beautiful recipes. I have one for you as well. So here's how we started with the chickpeas. Always look at your blood group, okay? Because it's just better to consume those kind of foods. It reduces inflammation in the gut and the blood and the cells. So check the chickpea if it's your blood group. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your flour and some semolina and a little bit of sweetness. It just balances out. You can use honey, some salt, some crushed ginger and green chilies. You can use like some citric acid. It activates it. A little bit of oil and a bit of water. All right, and then you will lightly steam that as well. So very, very yummy, very filling. Chickpeas are also one of our main ingredients in our methodology for cancer patients because of the bioavailability and the quality of the protein in the chickpea, just to tell you. So chickpea soup. You get chicken soup, but you also get chickpea soup. Very, very nutritious and easily available, easily assimilated protein. The chickpeas you can actually sprout, and you can put them in smoothies and things like that as well. So very valuable food. And if it's not your blood group, you know what, now and then the benefit might outweigh a little bit of inflammation, but not all the time. So that's that one. And now we're having a look at the kombucha. So, I mean, I make it in very big glass containers. And the reason that I started making it was because I knew the value of kombucha tea. But every time I bought it and I drank it, I would feel the alcohol in my body. I would feel the alcohol content, which did not feel right. When you brew the kombucha with a SCOBY, which is what the little culture is called, a SCOBY, you have to brew it until the pH is acidic, all right? It must taste like enhanced vinegar. It should not be sweet in any way, because that means there's still alcohol in there, there's still sugar. It's not ripe. It must really be enhanced vinegar. It should actually do that if you take it straight. You should dilute it a little bit because it will be that strong. So you can see the SCOBY in there. this little one here, and you can find friends to give them to you. And it just smells delicious and it's just wonderful. So I decided to make my own so that I didn't get poisoned by what was on the shop shelf. And I knew that would be undiluted organisms. So the kefir, the kombucha is brewed aerobically. So you're going to have more aerobic organisms in there. The sauerkraut, the kimchi is brewed anaerobically. So you're going to have a different set of organisms. So we like to eat a cross-section. That's what our ancestors did. See, same with the plants. We want to give them a cross-section. We want to give them a cross-section of compost made from all sorts of different varieties. Okay. So varieties of cow dung, seagull dung, bat, guano, etc., etc. See, it makes it very mineral rich. Also, the leaves you use in the compost, you want to get them from all sorts different sources, not just all the same. And us too. So let's get back to this one. Okay, now this is really, really easy, and it's just so rewarding. I mean, I don't know, these are our friends. When my son was young, I would give him to every morning before school. I'd say, you need to drink your friends. You need your friends, because our microbes are friends and they interact with each other and greet each other. Never mind us physically greeting each other, they greet each other. And, you know, they get highly offended if someone is on an antibiotic, because it will kill not only the person on the antibiotics, gut flora, but also mine and yours. So they get highly offended by that, highly offended by radiation. So again, they'll help ward it. But remember that, you know, X-ray machines and microwave and all of that will kill them. So we have to constantly take them in. So you get it's all a 1 cup of boiling water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 black tea bag. Now this is a ratio that you can then multiply, but again, start small. So start with 1, 1, 1, 1 with your little SCOBY. A small amount, and in a week or 2, you will have your kombucha, maybe 3 weeks if it's very cold. The only test there, you can get a pH meter, but if it's really sharp, you know it's ready. It should not be sweet. You boil the water, you add the sugar, and you dissolve it. You take it off the heat, you add the tea bag. You let it cool down, obviously. And then in it, you put it into a glass container and you add your SCOBY. You leave it from 2 to 4 weeks. It just depends. And then the taste should be enhanced vinegar. So then when you've got that quantity, you can then increase the glass size and increase the glass size. Decant a little bit because you're going to want to taste it, of course, yourself. But then leave the remaining, and then you can grow your quantities. In the same amount of time, it will just brew. It's wonderful. It all ferments, and you can just see the activity. It's just incredible. So that SCOBY is a microbial colony that's grows out of the microbial cloud where you live, wherever it's made. That's why I'm a big advocate of making your own, because you are making medicine and you're making yourself more intelligent. Got to be good, full of life force. Imagine drinking all these little beautiful light electrons. And then this is my product, the naturally brewed fermentation. All right. So there is a certified mother culture that has got guaranteed the 80 to 120 live strains, of which we then brew our probiotic. And you get the probiotic and the live enzyme with it. All right, so you'll also get enzymes in the kefir, in the kombucha tea, etc. All the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeast which are naturally occurring. So we've got it on special now with the cell oxygen, but let's just really again focus on you know what the benefits are: stress reduction, removal of depression, anxiety, calming, because they're cleaning toxins, boost immunity, reduce disease, nourish the body, reduce the brain fog, improve digestion, optimize elimination. That's the working of the gut. Okay. And maximizing detoxification. So if you want to think clearly and live productively, this is one of our main products, and not too many people will leave the center without a bottle of this in their hand. And we believe prevention always better than waiting for when it's too late. We don't want to suddenly, when we're sick, try to start building the microbiome. That must be there. It's our army. These organisms are our army. So the special combo at the moment you've all seen, it's got the microbiome reset and the cell oxygen. The total price usually is $700, and it's now $599. So there's a saving there of a good saving of 100 Rand and $1 saving of $7, which is good. And the advantage of, as I said to you, bringing the cell oxygen in at the same time is that we're doing two things. We're building the microbiome. We're bringing the nourishment in for the microbiome, which we're going to need to heal the microbiome. And the gut lining, we need to clean it, get rid of all the debris and so on. And we're bringing in then a wham of oxygen, a cell oxygen capsule, very, very, very powerful. I had a lady today come in and said to me, Jane, I thought I could take 2 capsules, but I had to come back to 1. It is so powerful. I've had a lot of people confirming with me and reconfirming, but I have constipation. Is it going to help? Yes, it is. Why? Simply because it's going to obliterate anything that's in its way. So the microbiome reset taken at meal times, the cell oxygen taken middle of the day, middle of the afternoon is a good time actually. Not too late at night, because you don't want to be too oxygenated at night. You do, but you don't want to be, some people don't want to be too oxygenated because of sleep. It has no effect on me whatsoever. But just to say, everyone's a bit different. 4 o'clock in the afternoon is a great time to take that cell oxygen capsule. On an empty stomach, even better, and it just moves through. Similarly, the cell vitality oxymineral drops, also good to take in the afternoon. And the DMSO, you see there's an oxygen there as well, and a sulfur, in fact, in the DMSO. So those combination products are just going to work like a bomb. And restore, reset, rejuvenate, and then suddenly the blood comes clear, the brain becomes clear, and we bring the joy back, the happiness back, the love, the peace that we're all yearning for. And as a big bonus, the DNA gets evolved at the same time. So very, very, very beautiful, and a very easy way to get a whole lot of things happening that you didn't expect. And in addition to that, toxin-free gut, parasite-free, reduction in allergies and food tolerances, repair of ulcers, SIBO, ulcers, Crohn's disease, diarrhea, constipation, pain, inflammation, etc. And that is the end of the presentation. I hope you've really, really enjoyed it, and I've shed some real light on, what probiotics really are, and how they are so important to us. So the mold in the kombucha, yes, wash it, definitely wash it, absolutely wash it, and put it back with a new tea. Make new tea. And just leave it. I remember once this girl had one that it wasn't actually moldy yet, but it was dormant. It wasn't fed, so it wasn't growing. Nothing was happening. And we brought it home, and we nursed it. And we thought, we're going to throw it out. I think we better throw it out because nothing's happening. And then one of the staff said, no, leave it. Put it in the warm, in a warm spot. Always have it covered at the top, because you don't want dust and you don't want creepy crawlies and everything going inside. So you can either use a Colton roll, a piece of a serviette always with a elastic, or you can use material also with an elastic, just so that the air can come in, because it needs air. Can't grow without air. Any case, long story short, it absolutely survived. And if you don't have one, if you don't have a SCOBY, you make the tea and you leave it, the SCOBY will develop. I'm just saying, So you'll see, you'll start getting looks like an oily film on the top of the tea, and then it will start getting a bit thicker and a bit thicker, and then you'll get your SCOBY. But there'll be lots of friends that will be able to give you SCOBYs. So yes, coconut milk will also, with you can make the kefir with the coconut milk and with the goat's milk. So yeah, interesting, very, very interesting. I'm just going to go to the offers section here and show you what it all looks like. Hold on. If you press on offer, on the offer section, you will get the bottle of, and just go and do that. Under offer, press there, and you should see the special offer to reset the gut instantly and so on. And then what I'm going to give you also is the link, so that I'll make it easy for you. So you can just click on the link, but many of you have it also in the on the groups and in the information on gut health. So I'm just pulling the special link through for you. And then you can make use. The special will be on for another week. So I think, spending 3 weeks on gut health is critical, especially due to the number of people that I'm seeing responding to the office, and the dispatch will dispatch it for you automatically. And otherwise, if you want to do an EFT option, I can do that as well. And I'm just going to put the bank and the number and the company, just put the company name. Here we go. And then you can EFT. But the EFT, you need to add in rands, 100 rand onto the delivery fee. And then it'll go to the closest post net to you. So you can do EFT post net delivery at that $6.99 in rands. And the overseas people will all book online anyway. And local people can also book online, and you can add other things to your order too. We've got lovely earthing mats. The microbes love it when we're on the earth, all right, because they're getting electrons. So they're getting electrons and electron spin to regenerate. So it's another whole area, maybe for next week. But they like iron, they like copper, they like the minerals. That's what they feed off. So they need those foods, also the vitamins and proteins. They need all of that to grow. So that's where you can buy your lovely stuff. There's also a gut cleanse, which we talked about last week. And this mum brought her little boy, he's 9 years old, and sometimes he used to go to the toilet once a week. So we put him onto the cell oxygen, the microbiome reset, the enzymes, the gut cleanse. And she told me that there are these long ropes that started coming out, and this real impacted, horrible feces that was coming out. You're not going to get that with a colon irrigation, not that easily. You need to actually stimulate the detox from the mouth, as far as I'm concerned. You will help, but you don't have to, because we have powerful products to do this. And then, you're rebuilding from the top down, basically. There's another wonderful product, the castor oil. Now, I would suggest that you do the cell oxygen, the microbiome reset, possibly the gut cleanse as well. Eat a light diet full of salads and lightly steamed veggies and flaxseed oil for about a week. Some brown rice and that kind of food. And then for 3 nights in a row, you take the castor oil, 2 tablespoons just before bed. You're not going to watch TV and read and everything after that. Just before bed, you take the 2 tablespoons, get the apple ready, but this castor oil that we have is yellow. It's organic. It's not the see-through clear castor oil that mom used to chase you with. It's pure, it's organic, it's a medicine on its own. You swallow that, you go and sleep, and you do that for 3 nights in a row. If your stomach doesn't work, you've got a serious blockage, so you can call me. But generally, it will just put pay to any other debris that's in the way, including parasites. They cannot stand oil. So turpentine is a good detox for them too. And you can speak to me about that going forward as well. Also for the gut, the RNA DNA, the replica RNA DNA. Why? Because the RNA DNA will clean the little villi. So the adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine will clean the little villi of the gut and of the brain and of the rest of the body, all the cells. Remember, it's got the genetic code. So every single cell division after that will be perfect. So I love bringing that one in too. And the digestive enzymes, especially in the beginning, if people are not absorbing, not digesting properly, just to go back to the RNA DNA, it will heal the leaky gut. That's what we use because it's coenzyme A, G, C, and T. Everyone's heard of CoQ10A. We've got all 4, A, G, C, and T. It's very, very powerful, and it's natural bacterial fermentation to get these little proteins. So then we use also the digestive, everything moving to lubricate the gut and your lungs and your reproductive area, but we're talking gut today. So we need it to do that. And then we should have a shining, squeaky clean, shining gut and no more mental area issues at all. And I'm doing my best to bring simple, new paradigm, quantum medicine, quick results to the world, where we don't have to come back in 3 months' time, for the skin to clear. By the way, if you clean the gut and you clean the liver, the skin will clear. Just to tell you. So, so if we can remove fermentation, I'm horrible to fermentation. I'm not talking about beneficial fermentation, but fermentation of alcohol and aldehyde and things like that. And we can remove inflammation and we can restore alkalinity in the body and raise the oxygen levels. None of these pathogens will grow, and you will just have an overflow, an overabundance of beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeasts. And just one more thing, by the way, the microbiome reset. As you use it, the volume decreases and the amount of air that gets trapped every time you close the lid increases. So sometimes you will get actinomycetes, beneficial aerobic organisms that grow on the top of it. Perfectly natural, perfectly normal. It's part of the natural product. So just know that. And never, ever in the fridge and well away from electricity cables. They can't stand it. And this is a true story, all right? So these big jars of mine, and I've got bigger ones, they get very heavy. So we had them growing beautifully on a one of these wooden display units, flourishing. And then I got a bee in a bonnet, and I thought, no, let's move it to its own stand. It was a wooden stand, but I put it next to the fridge. Do you know that it started dying? It couldn't stand the electromagnetic field, because a fridge and a fridge plug will have a 1.5 meter radius of electromagnetic field, which is the wrong magnetic spin, dangerous. And the kombucha SCOBY started dying. And I kept saying to the people, sometimes other people make, what's wrong with you? Why you can't make the kombucha the way I normally make it, or whatever, we were joking. And then one day I woke up and I thought, oh my word, it's the fridge. We moved it away from the fridge back onto one of these display units. It just flourished ever since. So anybody who's any doubt about the electromagnetic field from plugs and fridges, there's no doubt anymore. If you sleep with your bed, with a plug behind your bed, you're sleeping in an electromagnetic field. It is nuking you all night. all right? The wrong magnetic spin. So I suggest move your bed at least 1.5 meters or 2 meters away from any plug. Take the lamp next to your, get it. So we can always rely on nature to teach us. And I'm very humbly grateful. And a lot of my transformation has been by observing nature and animals and obviously these beautiful microbes. So just absolutely wonderful to be with all of you again, and to have you with me and enjoying everything. If there's anyone who wants to add anything before we go, or any questions that I've omitted to answer, please let me know. We're steaming ahead now with the areas of disease, the detox organs, and this month has been gut, and it's been amazing. I urge you to go and listen to the other programs. I've really gone over time today, but you can always listen to it and pause it, the replay if you need to, and share it with people. Share it with your clients too, because I find there's not enough time to explain everything and why we're doing certain things, in an hour. So it's nice to have backup videos. And I just wish you all lots of luck in making your own homegrown, home-brewed microbes. And I'm telling you, my chickens love it. They love the kombucha. They love the kefir, the SCOBY, because the SCOBY gets big and it has babies. So I take the whole SCOBY and I give it to them. And honestly, within minutes, they've eaten the whole lot. If I put the kefir into their water, they drink more and they sit around it. If I put kelp or spirulina into their water, they sit around their water as if it's something very special. They literally sit around it. So don't think that they don't know also what's good for them. And we give all of this. We put the probiotic, the microbiome reset, the universal one. It's on the website. We put that into their water. And if you want to germinate your seeds before you plant them, make a diluted solution of the probiotic and leave them in for about 8 to 12 hours. And you enhance the germination yield of your plants, and definitely into the soil. But we'll talk about that, planting our own healthy veggies, coming up. Okay, so don't forget